All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are continuing our recent runner review looking at HKD and MEGL. Clearly not a good week since the last time I made this, and I was pessimistic last week, right? So it actually played out as expected, okay? I can tell there's a lot of love for these stocks, really both of them, and I'm not here to be a hater. I'm just, when it's time to get in, it'll be really obvious, and when it's time to stay away, kind of like we see, it should also be pretty obvious, right? But again, we'll get into the details shortly. What are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. Even if you don't though, thank you so much for watching these, okay? And then if you disagree with anything, please throw it in the comments, all right? I am very much not opposed to any different opinions, and if yours are better than mine, believe me, I want to hear them, okay? So, two-way street here. So look, let's get into the details. And I mean, the first and biggest one is super simple to see, okay? Really bad things happen under the 8 and the 20 moving average. I've been saying it for a really long time on all my videos. And again, you can clearly see it here, right? Last time we talked about this, I did a quick zoom out. This stock really does nothing more than trade under the 8 and the 20. There's obviously a couple moments where that, changes, but consistently it's very much under the lines. Really, the only time it was over the 8 moving average was the only time it had a consistent uptrend, right? So just you got to be aware of what the stock does before you start looking at this like immediate short-term view, right? But I said it last time and I'm kind of sticking with it. I really wouldn't touch this stock until we got over this line. And I'll say as the weeks go on, maybe we can lower it. What does it look like right here? All right, I guess we'll lower it a little bit to right there. I feel still a little hesitant doing that, but nonetheless, look, I just sincerely would not touch this thing under the 8 and the 20. Okay, I realize the RSI is incredibly low. It's at 6 something, right? But look at this thing is literally living at the bottom. You know what I mean? I often get really confused when a stock has an RSI that's living on the top. It's really the same thing here, but obviously the inverse, right? This single digit consistent RSI is wild to me. Okay, generally when something is generally once it's at 30, all right, okay, my cat's making some noise. What are you doing, big kitty? Come on, you're interrupting our viewership here. Get out of here. It's not bad, kitty. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, normally when the RSI reads 30, that means, hey, this thing is way too oversold and we need to turn around. The fact that it's just living down here, I mean, I'm telling you, this is very much an anomaly to what I'm used to seeing. But again, it just goes with you're always learning when you're doing this stuff, right? But I mean, again, even if this broke the 8, I generally say, rule number 1 is get in over the 8. Even if it broke the 8, I don't think I would touch it. You know what I mean? And the way that this thing plays, I guess this was a little bit of an anomaly, excuse me, but it seems to do just a big gap up and a drop, right? So, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not a hater here. I'm really not, but just that's a real bad volume. Obviously, that's a horrible RSI. It's really weird that the MACD is actually going on an uptrend and it has the green over red. Again, that's why we use both of these, right? These two should be saying the same thing. When they don't, something is generally a little off. And clearly what this is kind of telling me is probably look at the RSI a little bit more than the MACD, right? But again, I lowered my entry line. We at least put it to the bottom of this candle, give or take. You can tell I was still a little hesitant, right? But in some ways, really, it's about at least the reason why I lowered it was because if it's up here, right, you don't have that much distance to the next line right there, which is the 50. I'm sorry, I'm over here. I realize I clicked over there, but the 50 is going to be the next resistance, right? And I guess in my head, I would rather lower it a little bit, trying to catch a little more. But I'm telling you, like this is just a real scary stock to be in all honesty, especially as it just continues to go under the 8 and 20. The day this thing goes over it and confirms, all right, that second half is really important, and confirms. This will be an entire different story, okay? But I'm telling you, there's just so much bad that it's hard to believe in anything else, okay? Look at the weekly. Again, we've literally never been over the 8 consistently, right? Obviously, these look good, but the 8 moving average didn't start until the 8th candle, right? This is number 8 right here. We have one single week that gets over it and clearly bad confirmation, right? And look at this thing. The 8 looks like it's ready to actually keep going lower, okay? The RSI in the weekly has been at a 1. Are you kidding me? Jesus, it was at a 0.88. My goodness. That's a long ways away from 35. So if this thing actually heads down, it could be a real devastating weekly too. And just look at that volume, man. I mean, there's so much bad going on. Again, I'm not here to hate on this stock. I'm not here to bash. I'm just here to tell you, in my opinion, your money can go do better things than be in this one, you know? So again, once it gets over the key lines, it'll be a very, very, very different video. But all I'm expecting is this thing to stay under until it proves me wrong, and proving it really does mean doing it more than once, okay? So coming into MEGL, the Magic Empire. Ooh, interesting. Okay, still very, very much a bad chart, okay? I always say 80% of the work is up here, and really all we're doing is trading under the 8, definitely under the 20, obviously under all 4 of these, right? The reason I said ooh, obviously, was a couple things caught my eye, all right? Number one, that's a nice red that could either come basically to here or to here, okay, depending on what the resistance is going to look like. It almost makes sense that it might come up to here around 201, just because, again, it's under these 2 lines, and really that's just such a nice string of red. I think it'll come here. So I would actually venture to the $2 more than that $1.7 or $1.90 number. Again, 10-cent different, right? Again, what also looked pretty nice was this. That's a decent RSI, right? I actually see the green peeking over the red. It actually looks like the green wants to keep going up. The MACD doesn't look as good, but it goes from really bad to kind of flattening out, right? That looks almost completely parallel versus that like downtrend from the last few weeks, right? So MACD is not quite great. RSI looks all right. Obviously not great volume, right? But hey, maybe this candle is a little bit of a reason to believe we'll fill these. Overall, I have to stay bearish here, right? We're definitely under the line. We didn't even wick the line, right? I mean, it's been quite a while. This thing's at least done a little better than HKD, I would say, just because, again, it's at least had a lift and tried staying up on the lift, right? This 50, not quite holding it too well, but, you know, it at least didn't go down like that, like we saw with the other one, right? So, overall, do I think we're going to get over these 2 lines, this 2.8, 2.10? Not really. But trading from 177 to 2 is a little more than 20%. So there could be an interesting move here if it happens, right? Again, I'm still not too convinced. And really, I don't think I would actually touch this until it broke 182, right? So 183 puts you over 8. And then from there, there's only so much room before you get to these resistances, right? So it's I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, right? I will very much say if you can get over, what's this number, 230, right? Because 228 is the 100. If it gets over 230, that's going to be huge. Actually, is the top of this 230? Yeah, so 230 is the top of this guy, and it's just over all the moving averages. 230 is the money line. I'll go ahead and set an alert for 231. Again, an alert is not an immediate buy. It's just a, hey, come check out the charts. But yeah, I would much rather trade over all these lines than anywhere in between, and especially not under. That's for sure, right? But look, this line that we drew last week, it did its job. This is a support line. It came all the way to it, and instead of losing it in an ugly candle, it did its job and supported us up, right? My only concern, I don't see enough that makes me believe we're going to get over the 8. I for sure don't see enough that makes me believe we're going to get over these two. Let's see if the weekly changes my mind a little bit. Not really, in all honesty, right? Again, this is also a relatively new stock, right? So there's not too much history. But yeah, we've got a MACD, the green line. Obviously, we don't have a red line, but the green line is definitely in the negative, right? So if it was in the positive, maybe that would look a little better. Again, RSI is doing nothing more than going completely horizontal, right? So I'm pretty much disregarding this. And then clearly volume has been a joke, for lack of words, right? So again, not trying to be rude or anything, but nothing is screaming getting over 210. There might be a chance though we run to 2. And again, getting over that 182 might be the place to consider it. But hey, at the very minimum, 163 did its job. And again, that's why I love technical analysis, right? The lines do their thing. So, hey, I appreciate your time. Again, if you disagree with anything, throw it in the comments, all right? Otherwise, one last time, thank you so much for watching.